my second, my third. What happened with me is I always stayed in the deal room. I just started doing more complex deals. The fact of it, frankly, is that this is still what I do today.
So what was your first business?
Woo! Girl, you don't take me back.
Everyone's itching to hear.
My first business was when I was in high school.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. In my grade 11 year, this is what happened. So I traveled to London, I do the public speaking, I win. I come back with a Rolodex of people I've met. And then later that year, I traveled to Australia.
Yes.
Spent a couple of months, close on a year, come back, another Rolodex.
Yes.
South Africa had at the time, as it does still today, massive unemployment crisis. And so one day I had an epiphany. Cheers, Lord. And the epiphany was this, right? So the epiphany was this. And by the way, there's actually businesses built on this today.
Okay.
So here was the epiphany. Today, in Nairobi, there is a young person who studied dramatic arts or graphic design who can't find employment in Nairobi.
Yeah.
However, there is a firm in Utah, the US, looking desperately for a graphic designer. They can't pay what a graphic designer charges in the US, but they can pay marginally less than this. And for the young person in Nairobi, that's probably 40% premium of the market rate.
For sure.
There are tons of these now. A lot of them use technology. So I started, my first company was called GPSA, Global Professionals South Africa. And the main idea was that I was going to connect all of these young people looking for work with global companies, talent pools looking for young people.
That's brilliant.
I know. It was genius. And the idea was genius. The execution was terrible.
Oh, oops.
Okay. The execution was terrible. But it was, and I like thinking of that as my first business, because I think sometimes the mistake we make is we think our first business is the business where we issued an invoice or we're like successful. And no. I think your first business is the one where you give it a name and you give it a life and you give it an identity and you start talking to people about it. In my mind, once you've done this, it's a business.
True.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, you made me also think back. Which is probably not my first business.
And by the way, exactly, I was about to say that I mentioned this because I think one of the great fallacies for us to break down, a false truism, which is an oxymoron, is when they read the Vusi's bio, to the young person it's like, oh, so his first business was a success. No. It was probably iteration number 5. It's just iterations 1 to 4 are not in the CV.
Yes.
Because, Forbes doesn't want to know about this, right?
Right.
They're
not good for the.
But if you're watching the Suzie Wokabi podcast, you want to know about this.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you've probably done it already. So you go, oh, so I've already got a business.
Yes.
And even if this one doesn't work, then maybe the next one. Then maybe the next one.
Yes, exactly. And don't you agree that, there's a reason for each one of them to have happened how they happened in order for you to even be here today?
Absolutely.
Right?
Goes without question. That now when I counsel to myself, I think one of the lessons I've learned is that any idea is only as good as the execution around it. Any idea.
Yeah.
And in fact, bad ideas are made great by phenomenal executors all the time. Good ideas are made terrible by people who have no execution ethic, right? And so I think that the question always for entrepreneurs, business owners to ask themselves, when you're building a business is, are you willing to take the execution risk?
Yeah.
Because there is definitely a risk attached to executing on anything. Risk of time, talent, networks, the opportunity cost of doing something else or sticking with this.
100%.
Yeah.
and that, there's people that are visionaries,
Yes.
that are just not implementers or executors, what do you say to them? Get the right team around you? Like that would be,
I mean, I think it's an illness most visionaries suffer.
Yeah.
Actually, is that they're not great at execution. I can tell you what to do because this is what I've done, so I know it works. But I can also tell you what to do because this is how I make decisions on who to back.
Yeah.
And that is, you have to be a team of founders.
Yes. Exactly.
Well, did you have a moment?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to be a team of founders. So when they tell the story of Twitter, often they talk about Jack Dorsey. He was one of three. When we tell the story of Apple, we talk about Steve Jobs. Wozniak built the computers.
Okay.
And I forget the other guy's name, but he was the one that came with the financing and he went and raised money. There was a team of three.
So the front man is the front man, but it's a team.
And the mistake we make, I mean, do you actually think Uncle Aliko Dangote sat and built the financial model for his refinery? Of course not.
No.
Of course not.
Yeah.
So what he's done is he's built around him a team who's capable of executing. It's fundamental, this. In fact, before here, I had a meeting quickly with my CIO, and we were talking about a particular deal we're working on back home in South Africa. And he's gone through the deck, he's modeled it. We spoke a bit about valuation, premium, pricing. We spoke about lock-in periods, where would we raise the capital from? We had the whole discussion. He did that over the course of the past week. I've been on the road.
Yeah.
So teams always build better businesses. Always.
Always. And whenever I'm talking to younger entrepreneurs, I always say, like, one mistake I did make was trying to do everything.
Yes.
Which is, of course, impossible. Beyond, like, impossible is an understatement. And learn through many mistakes that, I don't have to know how to do everything. I shouldn't know how to do everything.
Yeah.
Let the person who knows how to do those things do it well. That's what you invest in.
And can I just say something?
Yeah.
So remember that there's two risks, right? The first risk is that you try to do everything. The second risk is that you try to build a business that does everything.
Yeah.
Because then what also happens, because you're alone, you become an echo chamber, a sample of one. So what happens is you originate an idea, you proof that idea, you find the proof points and the evidence, you convince yourself it's true, and you execute it. And nowhere in this process is there a second person going, it's not going to work.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the power of having a team is...
It's power.
It's power.
It is.
It's you wake up in the morning and go, why don't we make purple lipstick? And somebody says, can we just get our base products right first? How about we just get the eyeliners right?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's get that right,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, very important this. One more thing to add on this, which is generally entrepreneurs, very gifted ideas people, think an idea is the answer to every problem. So you start a business, make cups of coffee, and customers come in and they love the coffee, they hate the service. So rather than bring in a resource to help build a service ethic in your business, you come up with an idea that if you serve croissants, people would love your shop more. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what I call idea capital. People think when things go wrong, if I throw more ideas at the thing, I'll fix it.
No.
Sometimes it's keep the idea really simple. Just be ruthlessly good at executing on a simple, basic idea. Simple, basic idea.
Absolutely. That is wisdom beyond, and I hope you guys are taking all the notes. And that's what is it? 95% of startups fail
Yes.
in their first year.
Yes. So there's a maturation that I've my own experience now over a decade backing founders. I've learned the following. I can tell in the first 3 minutes if you're a first-time founder, second-time founder, third-time founder, or a mature founder, based on the following. I shouldn't give away the secrets, but it's you.
Pray do tell, yes.
First-time founders
Yeah.
focus on product.
Okay.
So first-time founders are convinced the quality of your coffee is going to make you the most successful coffee merchant in town. So they tinker a lot. They'll go into the workshop and they'll fix the little device that they make, right? First-time founders, here's how you can tell a first-time founder. When the sales are bad, they go to the website and they try to fix the website. The website is not the problem, comrade. Maybe you need to look elsewhere, right? Sound familiar?
You're 100% You are taking me there.
So first-time founders love this idea that because remember, the first-time founder came up with the product.
Yes.
So for them, the product is the mecca, and all answers then therefore can be solved by
The
product. So that's first-time founders. Second-time founders focus on distribution.
Okay.
So the second-time founder goes, look, my coffee is okay. It's not that great. But here's what I've got. I've got 100 stores around me that are willing to stock 100 units of my coffee today. So I need you to front me $10,000 so I can produce the coffee, because here are the contracts and offtake agreements from 100 coffee merchants.
Okay, okay.
Second-time founder. So he understands his coffee has to be, as we say in legalese, pari passu. It has to be good enough for the market.
Yes.
But it doesn't have to be like the most amazing, life-changing. Yeah. It's coffee, man. It's not going to be purple. It's not going to be green. It's coffee.
I completely agree.
No one's ever made a coffee that solved all of your problems. Coffee's not an aphrodisiac.
Yeah.
It doesn't solve your financial
Problems.
issues. It's just coffee.
Yeah. Distribution, on the other hand, will solve many more of those
You got
issues.
it.
Yeah.
So second-time founders, they go distribution, distribution, distribution. Third-time founders
Yeah, I've heard about this.
focus on value chains.
Okay.
So the third-time founder goes, coffee's great. How did it get here?
Yeah. Where did it start?
Where did it start? So who are the farmers? Who's in the agri sector? Who controls the logistics environment that gets it from the agri sector into the factory, from the factory into the shop, from the shop into my cup?
Yeah, yeah.
So they look at the logistics. Then they go, and in this whole value chain, where is the opportunity and money? Third-time founders, you can always tell, will own the full value chain. So whereas you'll go to a store and buy the cup, they not only own the cup, they own the receiving company that brought the cup in. They own the trucks that moved the cup from the factory to here. They own the factory that made the cup. And then they own shares in the company that produces whatever raw material you need to make the cup in the factory. Full value chain.
Okay. You reminded me of more things, but yes.
Does that make sense?
Completely.
Yeah.
Mature founders?
So the most mature founders always focus on ecosystem. They start building in the inverse. So what the most mature founders do is they go, I don't actually have to own all of these. I only have to aggregate them. There's a word for this. It's called the Amazon model. What does Amazon make?
Oh my God, nothing.
But they aggregate everything.
Yeah.
The world's largest media company, Facebook, makes no media. It aggregates everything. The world's largest investment terminal portal doesn't give any investment advice, but it aggregates everything. It's called Bloomberg. So the most mature founders you'll always find will build an ecosystem, and then what they do is they get everybody working in the ecosystem to use them as the unit standard in that industry. Now remember, once you become a unit standard, that's it.
That's true.
You are
the go-to.
You're the go-to.
Yeah.
When the regulator is thinking of changing something, they come to you. They go, we're thinking of changing the way this works. What do you think? And you now begin to give them advice.
So would you say, could you say that a first-time founder inside of the same establishment ends up being a mature founder by evolving?
So this is why you want teams, right? Because one of the things you want to have when you're building a business in your team makeup is people who are at different stages of maturation.
Right.
So if I look at my growth fund, in my board, I've got somebody who's been in private equity for over 30 years. I've got somebody who's worked for Goldman Sachs in Wall Street. I've got somebody who worked and built a food platform over a period of 30 years. So what that means is they get to accelerate the way we think of things.
Right.
Because they've done it so many times over.
Yes. And then you can't or don't have to
You
do
got
that or know that.
I bought into a crypto startup called Severus. In fact, we're doing an IDO as we speak.
I did see a video that you did on
Yeah.
very recently.
It's really cool. I'm so excited by this.
Yeah, tell me.
So the problem we're trying to solve is CFI to DeFi in the African context. Basically, when you want to move your capital from fiat into crypto and from crypto back to fiat, we want to make that on-ramp and off-ramp as seamless as possible. And of course, we want to do all the other things. We want to do liquidity, staking, and all the other stuff, right? But if I look at the team, that team is people who've been in crypto for a while. You know, it's people who are in company 3 and 4 in the crypto space, which means even though I'm the guy who is giving the strategic direction and leadership, I get to lean on them a lot because they've been at this couple of times.
There, done that.
My CTO, we're getting the app on the Apple Store. The Google Play Store is fine, but to get it on the Apple Store, there's a different process to follow.
Okay.
And they came back. There's like a code they give you to get it as an app on the App Store, whatever the case might be. So I was talking to him beginning of the week, and I said to him, "Will we make the deadline?" Because they've said 2 weeks. He said, "No, we'll make the deadline." I said, "But they said 2 weeks. How do you know?" He said, "I've done this so many times before. They'll make the deadline." So, just the benefit of a team is knowing that you've got your bases covered, even in areas where you're not necessarily strong. So that, as a founder, you get to focus your time and attention on the things you're good at.
And it takes what a strong mind or strong person, strong founder to recognize that and act accordingly, because there's a lot of people that will fight that.
Don't even get me started. Ego is the enemy.
Yes.
Ego is the enemy.
Yeah.
The job of any good founder is to fire themselves. Once you understand this, your life changes.
100%. Completely. Be comfortable enough and willing enough. What is the end goal for this brand to thrive and survive?
You got it. So
I
think
to hold a title.
From the beginning, you have to be deliberate about building a business and putting in place measures to enable the business to fire you. Otherwise, here's what happens, and take it from somebody who's had this happen before. So here's what happens. So first you build a business. It's great. Then your business grows. Fantastic. Then you've got a little kingdom, minions running around you, telling you, "Oh, Lord Vusi, you're amazing." And every time you walk into the office, here he, enters Lord Vusi. You got it. So this happens, right? And you become this little king in his fiefdom.
No.
However, sooner or later, markets turn, businesses turn.
Evolution.
And then 3 things happen. First, as the market changes, you don't see it, because you're so high perched in your ivory tower, you don't see what's changing. Second, as it changes, the pillars that you've built your business on become shaky, and you can't fix more than one pillar at a time. And so this is when you start getting into sleep deprivation, exhaustion, stress, financial problems. So what happens is the following. You've got a cash flow liquidity problem. You want to talk to the bank to give you capital. The bank is talking to you in the language of finance, and because you didn't invest in a strong finance person when the business was growing, you can't have this conversation now. So now you've got liquidity problems, a bank talking to you and saying, "Send us your management accounts, send us your 3 years latest audited financial statements. Can we see a business model, and can we see you modeling the next 6 months of what your cash flows are going to look like. And then they want to talk about covenants, debt ratios, and you have no clue what they're talking about, right?
Yes.
But wait, while this is happening, you're getting your customers bringing product
other pillars
back.
are getting loose.
Yes. So the customers is now bringing the product back because their customers aren't buying it. And you're not sure, are they not buying it because the quality is bad?
But it's always been so good.
It's always been so good. Is the branding, is it a promotion issue? So Monday, 10 to 11, crisis finance. 11 to 12, crisis. You want to build a team around you.
Spiral starts, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And the
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Nugget after nugget of wisdom. I love it. So let me ask you, you've run a bunch of businesses. You are holding up fort in a few. How many are you
Now?
Now.
I can't say.
You can't or won't? You can't count?
No. I can count.
Okay.
It's not intelligent to disclose.
Okay. There you go.
Let me put it to you this way: that I learned fairly recently that it's always better. Let me say it differently. Sometimes God blesses you with things, and the blessing is just for you. We live in this era now where I must show off what I've been given
Oh yeah.
for it to be validated.
Okay, so no.
Yeah, I don't have this.
Nice.
So I'm blessed. I'm happy.
You're
The
doing
businesses are
the
growing.
Things.
We're
Yes.
doing amazing
But
stuff.
apart from that, you are helping. You are helping so many individuals, businesses of all sizes.
Yeah.
And this is, I feel like it's just going to keep going better and better.
It's tough for me, right? Because it's always something to balance.
I'm going to say, will the plate be too full at some point?
Look, at the moment, my dancing card is completely full. So I can't take any more girls to the disco.
There's enough girls.
But I've worked on what it is that I need to do, and there are different streams of my life that feed me differently,
Yeah.
and so I work on those. So I need to write. If I tell you, if I had
Best-selling author also. Yes.
twice,
Twice.
if I had $10 billion liquid cash, I would retire, and I'd be an author.
Okay.
I'd just write.
That is wonderful to know, to know something like that.
Yeah. So I need to write. It feeds me. I need to build highly scalable businesses. It feeds me. It's my soul lives on it. Then I need to give back and mentor. That's fundamental. So we launched a mentorship platform called the VT Club 100. And it's the URL is literally vtclub100.com. And it's only for 100 people. And it's a direct one-on-one mentorship with me.
Oh, wow.
Right? So, and by the way, it's not free. I hate free. Don't ever ask me for free.
Okay.
Yeah, no. But the reason I built it is precisely because that feeds me. Sitting and listening to people and going, have you thought about it this way? What about that way? Let me connect you with so-and-so. Try this. Feeds me. It's a part of what my soul needs to thrive.
You're reminding me of when we sat down and I was in a space where I was really confused about where the business was going, what I could do, what I should do. And you asked me so many, like, very, very...
They're very difficult.
Very direct,
sharp,
very immediate questions.
Yeah.
That had me thinking for a year thereafter, within an hour.
Yeah.
So, like, you 100 people, you are blessed. You are blessed.
Let me say very quickly, because it's important.
Yeah.
That I'd like to think. Now, first, I'm not by no means perfect, but I would like to think I'm able to give direction, because I'm ruthlessly deliberate about taking direction.
Yeah.
So to be a good teacher, you have to be a phenomenal student.
Yes.
And we don't talk enough about this. We need to talk more about a spirit of humility. No matter how high you go, you remain teachable, remain humble.
Oh, absolutely.
Very important.
I mean, don't you learn from your kids every day? Like down to that.
Yeah.
Right.
Sorry.
So I love
check
that.
this?
No problem. No
I just
problem.
want to check who this is. Calling forever.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's my financier. It's good when he calls.
Okay.
all yours.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you 2 questions.
I'm comfortable.
Your toughest, lowest low in the decades.
Oh,
Business, let's say business-wise.
COVID.
What? Not up and coming?
No.
Okay.
See, it's hard to have a low when you're low. So when you're
You
building,
don't know any better.
you don't know any better.
Ah.
Like when you're building and you're coming up, and always, I think that the problem with the spotlight is it's on you all the time. All the time. You also have to remember, Suzie, you've known me long enough to know that no part of me has ever desired to be a rock star, celebrity.
Right.
This is the reason why when I was offered reality TV shows, I turned them down. Like I don't need this. I don't have a TV show. I don't have a radio show.
Yeah.
Nothing like this.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure the offers have been plenty.
So I've never really wanted to be famous. I just want to be the best at what I do. And if you are deliberate about being the best at what you do, public acclaim will come.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
Usain
You're
Bolt.
not
didn't-
looking for it.
You're not looking for
You
it.
never have to look for it.
I always, I always love referencing Usain because I've shared the stage with him. But Usain Bolt didn't want to be famous. He wanted to be the fastest man in the world, and he became famous.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to be the best.
Yeah.
So yeah, COVID was difficult because first we at the time were an on-balance sheet fund, which meant the transactions we had done were own capital.
Oh, okay.
Second, we had no dry powder coming into COVID. Finance people will know, but dry powder basically means capital sitting resident to create more liquidity in case your portfolio companies needs it.
Okay.
We didn't have this. And COVID came and it hit a barrage of our businesses. And then there were personnel issues, people issues. I was changing, the business was changing,
The world.
the world was changing. I was bringing on board a board for the first time.
Oh.
So I was taking accountability. I was looking at the management team, and there were people I had placed in certain positions who shouldn't have been there. All the stuff founders deal with.
Yeah.
Like you hire somebody because you've known them for 10 years or whatever. Sometimes you hire them because some people are really, 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 really good at being the receptionist of one hotel. They just can't be the manager of receptionists across 100 hotels
Yeah.
when you run a chain.
Yeah.
And so as you're building this chain, you bring in somebody else above them. That creates all sorts of feelings of inadequacy and turmoil and strife and fight and all the rest of it.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
So I had a lot of this.
Okay.
It took me a long time to learn this, but right now, in this moment, you and I are exactly where we are supposed to be. So
Agreed.
if you're at the beginning of your journey, you've come out of COVID, you've lost your business, you've lost your home, you've lost your marriage, you've lost your family, you've lost everything. You are exactly where you're supposed to be. Start again and rebuild.
Because you're supposed to.
Because that's in your path.
Yeah.
It's a part of your making. it feels like an undoing,
Yeah.
but it is the doing.
Yes.
Right? So just
It's a tough one,
yeah,
but it's so true.
calm down.
Yeah.
And the PR is the PR. Right? The stories you're reading, published on the.
Exactly. It's a lot neater in front of the scenes than it is behind the scenes, all that.
Calm down.
Yes, I agree so much, but it also takes time and a certain level of maturity to really embrace that.
So I'll tell you something. I'll tell you this. I can't remember the last time I checked my LinkedIn, and I'm religious on LinkedIn. I probably haven't been on for about 2 months
Oh,
because it's beginning to cause me anxiety.
okay.
Every time I log on, it's like so and so.
A lot of noise?
It's got a second doctorate, and
Oh.
then so and so. I'm just like, just whoa. You get to a point where you feel like you're standing, watching the parade go by.
I understand
Just-
completely.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
you just remove yourself from that. Like, so if that's what it's making you feel, just don't do
because
it.
because here's the answer to this is so important. Remember, I took the decision. I'm playing the long game. In the long game, immediately it looks as if I'm not getting anywhere. But there are things I have to do that are foundational.
Yes.
Without these things, I can't get to where I'm trying to get to. Does that make sense?
You're speaking all my languages right
Yes.
now.
So the problem with the foundation is when you're
It
digging it,
It looks ugly. It looks quiet. Like it looks like you're doing nothing.
not doing nothing. You're going that way.
Oh
the
my
building's supposed to go that way. And-
You're talking to me because this is exactly where I've been, and I look quiet and I look, but what is being built is a bit like ridiculous.
You got it.
And I don't need to say much more about
You
that.
got it.
You know,
You got it.
because I know.
So I was thinking a bit about, I'm busy building, right? And I was thinking a bit about this, and it's like, so the process of building is first you find a piece of land.
Yes.
So as an entrepreneur, you come upon a marketplace. Once you've found this piece of land, you decide you want to buy it. An entrepreneur, you decide, I want to get into this marketplace. And then, before you do anything, you have to sit with somebody and tell them what you see. And they take it and draw it. So you need the plan.
Yes.
You need the blueprint.
Yes.
Now, for anybody else, all of this looks like nothing. But if you're building something, it's foundational,
Absolutely.
right? So,
That is so well put.
so just for me, it's because I'm at the stage where the things I'm building so massive, so big, that I've got to make sure the foundation is
so
deep
strong.
and well set.
Yes.
So when I'm watching people at the peak of their mountain, I need to remember that I have a couple of mountains that I've peaked, and I'm now at the base of a new one. So this is why
And
I'm
it's
like,
great
yeah.
and it's okay.
yeah, this is why I'm like, it's causing me anxiety. I'm going to take a step back. And
Because you're not there. You
Yeah.
don't need to be, and you don't need to see that and have the noise.
in the words of Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back.
And we will.
I'll be back.
I love it. I love it. This was incredible. Now you've given me another year of nuggets and thoughts and inspiration. And
Speaking of which, by the way, how's
Yeah.
Suzie Beauty doing?
Suzie Beauty has gone through the transition. So where we left off that time was, there was somebody who wanted to acquire the brand.
I remember, yeah.
We were in that conversation. I was still holding on tight, and then the acquisition happened. And so my daily life became a million times easier, of course, because the stronger, bigger group, stronger backbone is helping me run my baby, my brand. And so that's been happening. That's what's been happening. But, so now I'm watching her grow intrinsically, slowly but surely. And then the itch is there because, I'm a second-time founder now, officially. And why everything you were saying struck me so much, because I really am. I'm creating her baby sister.
And how did you manage the process of bringing on other people and listening to?
Oh, no, that was a whole little animal of its own, because two institutions getting to know each other. It was like a brand new marriage, and Some things were weird and strange, some things were great and helpful. So just like gelling, constantly working on the gel. And yeah, so it was tough many times, and then it was great for many things.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. Oh, well done.
Yeah, and life continues, and as I keep saying, evolution. So yeah, so lots more to come from me in the beauty world. I will continue to make you beautiful. So there we have it. Thank you.
This was cool.
Can I say thank you enough? And your time here has been so limited. You've done 8 billion things and you still have a few billion to do before you leave. When are you leaving? In 2 days or in a day?
I think in 2 days.
Yeah. And you're still doing some big things.
I never know what's next. I only know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I love that. Especially, and I love that coming from you, who is doing humongous things. So you're speaking. Wait, what's happening?
I've already done my keynote, so I spoke already.
But then you have some.
Just meetings.
Meetings.
Yeah,
no
just
more.
No.
Pulling together 7,000 people.
No,
Okay.
No.
Awesome. Enjoy the rest of your stay here.
Asante.
And enjoy our beautiful traffic, which you witnessed today, and to be continued.
Yeah. They should. Somebody used to write a book about.
They do.
Nairobi traffic.
They do. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Suzie.
Thank you, my friend. And there we have it. Season 3 premiere with the most amazing guest. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. And we will see you for the rest of the season. I don't know if it will match up to this. I'll do my best. This is a hard one to follow. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you soon. Bye. Say bye.
Sayonara.